Aloha, my dudes, and welcome to our first speed paint. So we're just doing some fan art today, and I'm just gonna walk you through the process because my process is a little sporadic. Um, with the line art, I had a lot of well, it wasn't. I didn't have much trouble with the line art. The line art is actually one of my favorite parts to do, and the part that I didn't show in this video is actually the sketching process because that took me, that took me a long ass time. Um, yeah, so I didn't really have any troubles with Kim. Kim was the easier one, but Shego really, oh my god, Shego went through like, sorry guys, I just have some sort of cat fur on my tongue. Um, with Shego, I actually changed her pose about 3 times. I was working with a reference image since these are full body poses I'm not really used to. I typically do a lot of knees up poses, and I don't really do a lot of character interaction, which is something I really want to work on in the future. But yeah, so Shigo went through about 3 different poses and with this final pose, I actually changed it maybe a handful of times because I just couldn't get it to look right. And then when I did, it just kind of looked like she was very slanted, and Kim was like perfect, and then Shigo looked like she was some stretched out slinky. But once I got that pose down, it wasn't too bad. As I said, lining is probably my favorite part of any drawing, at least digitally. I change from traditional to digital. When it's digital, lining is my favorite part. When it's traditional, I love to color, especially if it's markers. If it's with anything else, traditional art just is my bane. So here I'm coloring. I finally finished the line art, and what I usually do is I kind of go and I select the larger areas and I fill them in with their base color, which is probably the most annoying part of the whole process. Especially when you have open areas like with Chigo's leg, there's not closed off things, so you have to go in and manually kind of like fill that border in before you can fill it in. And you can see that I'm not painting directly on a white background because as I've learned through my short art career, painting on a white background actually can skew your colors because it kind of makes your colors look darker. So it's always suggested that you paint on a background that has more colors. So some people paint on a blue background, some people paint on a gray background like me. As long as it's not like bright yellow or bright white, you want to try and stick to a colored background. So my shading actually takes multiple processes, and I used to hate this, and I still kind of hate this because, as you can see, not all of my shading is kind of cohesive. I kind of struggle trying to find the placement and the color that suits the shading, and here I had like a general idea of my light source, but I couldn't figure out one concrete area I wanted the light to come in on, so I kind of just winged it, and so that kind of made it so that the shading is kind of a bit all over the place, and that's something I really wish I had paid more attention to and that I can fix in any future pieces. And you'll notice too that I'm focusing on the characters first, so I'm focusing on Kim and Shigo first because I tend to like to work in stages. So if I had done all the base color for the background and the characters at the same time, I feel like I would have kind of gotten overwhelmed since already this took me about like 5 hours to complete. So I always go in with like this first layer of cell shading on the skin. I like to start with the skin first. So I start with cell shading on the skin in one color, and I try to not make it like the same color of her skin but darker. And then I go in with the hair. I always do cell shading at the beginning. It's one of my preferred methods. I really don't like that blended look. I like that kind of harsh cut look. And you can see with the hair that I kind of go all over the place because I never really know where to place that. And you'll often see me going back and changing colors on the shading, mostly because I never really know whether I should go in with one solid color or if I should change the colors a little bit with each different element, because like say you have like a purple shading on the pants and you add that to the face, it can kind of look a little weird depending on the lighting you're going for. And here I really wanted like this dark room with like yellow light coming from the walls and a TV light coming from the front. So I wasn't really sure what kind of shading, and that's something that I'm really gonna have to start looking in on when I do future pieces. And now I'm coloring the line art because as much as I love line art, I used to always do a black line art, but with certain, like the more I start drawing, the more I realize that I really don't like that harsh black line art, especially on certain pieces. Like with the skin, I really don't like that look. I do keep it on some places, but it's very rare. And here comes one of my favorite parts, but one of the parts that I still don't really know how to do. I like to make things dark and have shadows, and that's what I've been kind of doing in the past couple of weeks, is I've been really pushing myself to get these harsh light and dark contrasts because I really like the way that looks. So I kind of do that purple overlay that I dim down the opacity on. And this is probably like my third piece where I'm doing this blue ambient lighting where it kind of looks like there's a TV or computer screen reflecting on them, like they're watching TV after a long day. And I really, really, really like that kind of contrast between blue and purple. And because I didn't want the blue light to be the only source of light in the room, I kind of had it in my head that there was like a lamp on Kim's side, which I didn't actually stick to, but that's why you see me adding some yellow light onto her left side. And now comes my favorite little detail that probably no one's going to notice, but you saw me drawing the TV reflection in their eyes. And that's actually I had planned to make it look like they were watching their wedding video, so they're kind of being nostalgic after like a long day of being a criminal and being a Crime Stopper. But yeah, so like you can really see like it went from being something so flat to something pop out. And I think here's my program crashed because it does that a lot. Every time I save, I kind of have a panic attack because I'm like, oh no, please don't stop, please don't stop. But yeah, so finally got that back. And this is the first time I've actually targeted a background in any piece that I've done. I really struggle with backgrounds. Like I've only been drawing for about a year, and in that year I really only focused on developing my skills with people. And so with my past, oh no, my oven is beeping. Oh no, oh no. Okay, and we're back. So yeah, so I'm really trying to push myself with backgrounds. My last couple of pieces have only been fixated on the character because I'm a lot more comfortable with just characters, and backgrounds kind of intimidate me, and that's something, and here I keep pressing the wrong buttons. Backgrounds are really something that I want to push myself with, but I kind of feel like I have to target it one step at a time since I'm still not fully comfortable with my style and abilities with drawing characters. So like there's many things I want to improve on. Like in art, there's always a bunch of things that we can improve on. I'm trying to take it step by step, but it's easy to be overwhelmed since I know there's so many areas that I have to improve on. So like I have to improve on my anatomy and my stiffness and my character poses, as well as my shading and my contrast and my color choice. And so like backgrounds is kind of like in the background for my artistic goals since I have so much to work on already. And from everything that I've been, like, I like to watch a lot of other YouTube artists so I can get a sense of how they deal with progressing in art and just trying to get better in general. So yeah, so all I have to say is I did a background here, and I'm actually kind of proud of how it came out, even though it's kind of it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what I had originally intended. There are some things that bother me. Like originally I was like, I didn't know if I wanted it to be a bed or a couch. And then I was like, oh, well, it can kind of be like a bed couch where it just looks like they threw some pillows on this fancy little sloppy couch. But the couch to me anyway, looks like it's round, and Shego's legs are crossed as if it's dangling off the couch, and that's something that really bothers me. So like maybe if I ever redraw this, I'll go back and fix that and be more attentive to the poses I choose and the interaction they have with the background, since I'm pretty sure I drew the characters first and added the background after, which is not something we should really do. It's something I should really do the background first and then the characters. So I talked all the way through that coloring process, but we're on the wall now, and the wall actually was something I didn't know what to do, so I found it looked too plain if I made it a solid color, so I added an overlay of purple, and then I kind of needed that gradient to give texture. And I think it came out really well. Like, if we look at this final piece, I think it's really nice, and I'm kind of really proud of how it turned out. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. I hope you have a wonderful sunny day, and we'll see you again next time.